Hello, this is Dan again, and today we're going to be going over another to-do list application. If you remember, last week we talked about the to-do list application 3030, which what it does is it allows you to put in an item that you want to do, and then assign an amount of time to that item. So when you press play, you get your first item, you can work on your emails, and then it'll give you an alert to move on to your next task. And that's in order to help you not get distracted and caught up with one task and then get nothing else done. So we talked a little bit about abstraction. And abstraction, as I said, is separating the what from the how. And we determined that what the app is doing at the end of the day is simply helping you remember what to do. Now, how it's doing that is it is allowing you to enter in something to do, allowing you to enter in a time for that, and all those other details that make 3030 unique, those are going to be the how of the application. But the what, at the end of the day, is helping you remember what to do. So, in order to highlight this, I want to take a look at a very different to-do list application. And this one, as I said, is called Clear. Now, Clear is probably one of the most simple to-do list applications because literally all you do is you add items and then you take items off. And it has one other kind of layer to it. You can make different lists, so you can organize things by lists like errands, to-dos, things to remember, all that fun stuff. But really simple, just adding items and then removing them. So just like 3030, this is a to-do list application. So if we're looking at abstraction, and at its most abstract, what the application is doing is helping you remember what to do. But the how is going to be adding items and removing items, but Clear has something really unique in the how, and that the user interface and the design is part of the how. Now, this isn't always the case, and I usually recommend if people are making an application, don't do custom user interface, because Apple provides a bunch of user interface elements that you can use for free, and they've done all of the work, and you get a great application if you just follow their human interface guidelines and use their built-in user interface elements. But if you're doing an application like Clear, you're going to need to do something else, because at its core, like I said, all you're doing is adding items and then taking them off when you're done. But the way that it stands out in the marketplace and the way that it's different from every other application is going to be in the design. And therefore, the design is part of the how and should be included in the very first version of the application. So let's take a look at this real quick. Because it is such a custom user interface, just like 3030, the very first time you launch it, it's going to walk you through a tutorial. Now, I had mentioned in 3030 that this isn't always the best thing to do, but like with 3030 and with this application, you don't always have a choice. But if custom user interface is not necessarily vital to your application, I would recommend doing stuff based on Apple stuff and not including this. But obviously you need to with Clear. So you start swiping through and it explains all the different tools that you need in order to get started with the application. So things like how items are sorted, and then you're going to say how to move items on a list based on priority. As here it says picking up an item, tapping and holding. And then it's also going to show you the different layers. So if you move in further into the layers, like clicking a list, you're going to get from the menu to the list to the items, and then back out again. And then you can pinch to collapse and move towards the navigation. And so basically it teaches you how to use the application before initially launching you into your to-do list application. You can see right here, I have a list. You can go in here and add an item like to do, and then move it around on your list. And once you actually learn these things, it's really intuitive, and that's something that's really vital. So if you are creating something that's a custom user interface or custom kind of navigation and gestures, you want it to be really natural. And that's one of the reasons why Clear did so well, because once you learn that tutorial, you're not going to need to go back there again, because you're going to know how to add an item, because once you learn once, it's just natural, and so on and so forth for everything within the application. But going back to abstraction, and this is at the root of it all, because if you're looking at Clear right next to 3030, they're completely different. They're going to appeal to a completely different subset of people. That's why both of them can't exist. But at the end of the day, the thing that all of the people that use both of these applications have in common is they need to remember what to do. So that was me taking a look at the Clear to-do list application. You can find me online at iamdan.com, and that's Dan with 2 N's, so iamdann.com. Or find me on Twitter, it's Dan Berg, and that's again with 2 N's, so Dannberg. Thanks.